They told you aging means decline, that your best years are behind you, that the stiffness in your knees, the fog in your mind, the fatigue that sneaks into your mornings, all of it is just part of getting older. But that's a lie. A toxic, deeply rooted lie that's stolen decades of strength, joy, and independence from millions of people. Because the truth is this: aging is not the enemy. Ignorance is. I'm Dr. Marcus Levine, and after 30 years in medicine, I've seen two kinds of seniors: those who surrender to aging, and those who quietly defy it. The ones who climb stairs without gasping for air, who still laugh loudly with their grandchildren, who move through life with energy that shocks everyone around them. So what separates them? It's not luck, it's not genetics, it's knowledge, knowing what to ignore and what to do differently. And in this video, I'm going to expose the 5 toxic lies about aging that your doctor will never tell you. Because when you uncover the truth, you don't just add years to your life, you add life to your years. Now let's start with the first lie, and it might just be the most dangerous one of all. Lead number 1, slowing down with age is normal. You've heard it 1,000 times, right? Take it easy, you're not as young as you used to be. But here's where the truth gets shocking. Slowing down isn't a symptom of aging, it's a symptom of disuse. Let me tell you about a man named Harold. He was 74 when I first met him. A retired bus driver, quiet, proud, the kind of man who worked hard his whole life and didn't complain much. He came to me after a fall in his driveway. He wasn't hurt badly, but the look in his eyes told me everything. Fear, not of pain, but of what it meant. He said, "Doc, I think my body's finally giving up." I ran his tests, checked his heart, his balance, his reflexes. Everything was fine. His body wasn't giving up. His movement was. You see, Harold had slowly stopped moving the way he used to. Less walking, no stretching. His joints got stiff, his muscles weak, and his confidence crumbled. Not because of age, but because of inactivity. And this is the great misunderstanding about getting older. Movement loss isn't aging, it's atrophy. The body is built to adapt. When you stop challenging it, it stops showing up for you. But here's the empowering part. It works both ways. When Harold began doing simple mobility exercises, basic strength and balance training 3 times a week, everything changed. Within 2 months, he wasn't just walking more confidently, he was back to mowing his lawn. He regained what he thought was lost. So here's the truth your doctor rarely tells you. Motion is medicine. You don't stop moving because you grow old. You grow old because you stop moving. And I'll tell you something even more powerful. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that seniors who do just 15 minutes of daily movement, not intense workouts, just consistent activity, can improve muscle strength and circulation equal to people 10 years younger. That's not slowing down. That's reversing aging. So next time someone tells you to take it easy, smile, and remember, rest is recovery, but stillness is decline. Because every step, every stretch, every small motion keeps you alive inside your own body. Now the second lie is something that hits even deeper, and it is the reason so many people lose their spark long before they lose their strength. Lie number 2, memory loss and brain fog are inevitable. If I had $1 for every patient who told me, "Doc, my memory's just not what it used to be," I'd have retired twice. But what if I told you memory loss is not an automatic part of aging? It is a reflection of how your brain is being treated. Let me share a story. There's a woman I'll never forget. Her name was Ruth. She was 81, sharp as a whip her whole life, until one year she started forgetting names, then appointments, then where she put her keys. Her family was terrified it was dementia. But after examining her lifestyle, I discovered something simple but profound. She wasn't moving enough, she wasn't challenging her mind, and she had been eating like most seniors are told to. Low fat, low salt, heart healthy, but missing key nutrients her brain needed to stay alive. We made a few changes: more omega-3s from sardines and flaxseed, a daily walk in the morning light to reset her circadian rhythm, and simple cognitive games, crosswords, puzzles, even learning to play a new card game with her grandkids. 3 months later, her family couldn't believe the difference. Her recall improved, her energy returned, her MRI showed better blood flow to her brain. And that's when it hit me. The brain doesn't grow old, it grows unused. Neuroscientists have known this for years. Your brain creates new connections until the day you die, but only if you keep feeding it, challenging it, and moving your body. Because your brain and your muscles are in constant conversation. When your body moves, your brain fires. When your brain fires, your body follows. Here's where it gets even more exciting. In 2022, Harvard researchers published a study showing that just 20 minutes of brisk walking per day increases hippocampal volume, the memory center of the brain, by nearly 2%. That's the same effect some medications claim to achieve. In other words, you can walk your way to a younger brain. So don't believe the lie that memory loss is inevitable. Believe this instead. The brain you train is the brain you retain. And if you start today, you're already reversing aging where it matters most, between your ears. Now, the third lie is one that's quietly destroying independence for millions of older adults. It's subtle, it's accepted, and it's deadly. Lie number 3. Medication equals management. I know this one's controversial, but let's talk truth, because I've spent decades watching seniors collect pills like souvenirs, one for blood pressure, one for sleep, one for pain, one for side effects of the other 3. And each time, their doctors say the same thing: we're managing your condition. But managing isn't healing, it's maintaining the status quo, and the status quo is killing independence. Now, don't get me wrong, medication saves lives. But here's the uncomfortable truth. In senior health, pills are often prescribed as a substitute for lifestyle change, not as a complement to it. I once treated a man named Leon, 68 years old, on 6 different prescriptions. His main complaint? Fatigue so bad he could barely get out of bed. He said, "Doc, I feel like I'm dying slowly, but nobody's calling it what it is." When we reviewed his medication list, half of his symptoms were caused by side effects. We worked with his cardiologist and nutritionist to taper what wasn't essential, adjusted his diet, improved his hydration, and added strength training twice a week. Within 4 months, he went from barely functioning to walking 3 miles a day, off 3 medications entirely. That transformation didn't come from a miracle drug. It came from taking control back. The modern medical system is designed to treat symptoms, not causes. And when you're over 60, the default assumption is that decline is natural, so the goal becomes manage it. But what if the goal was to reverse it? Every cell in your body is designed to repair itself. If you remove what's hurting it and feed it what it needs, that's not alternative medicine. That's biology. Here's a fact that should make you stop and think. In 2023, the British Medical Journal published data showing that nearly 40% of seniors on 5 or more daily medications experience at least one drug interaction that worsens their health. 40%! That's not management. That's dependency disguised as care. Now, I'm not saying throw away your prescriptions. I'm saying partner with your doctor. Don't surrender to them. Ask questions. Understand what each pill does. Ask if there's a non-drug alternative. Because independent living isn't about living without medicine. It's about living with awareness. And here's where the real power lies. When you reclaim control over your own health, your entire body starts to respond differently. Your energy rises, your inflammation drops, your sleep improves. Because you're no longer numbing the signal, you're addressing the cause. So the next time someone says, "You'll be on this for the rest of your life," remember this truth. The body is designed for healing, not maintenance. And that brings me to the 4th lie, perhaps the most emotionally damaging one of all. But before we go there, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from, and which of these first 3 lies hit you the hardest? Have you ever been told something about aging that didn't sit right with you, but you believed it anyway? Share your story in the comments below. I personally read everyone because your story might be the message another senior needs to hear today. Now let's go deeper, because the fourth lie is the one that steals joy long before it steals health. Lie number 4. Happiness fades with age. This is the silent one. The belief that getting older means getting lonelier, grumpier, or somehow less relevant. Society feeds this poison every day. Just look at commercials, media, even casual jokes. Aging is painted as decline, not depth. But here is what decades of research and thousands of real lives prove. Happiness doesn't fade with age. It flattens when purpose is lost. Let me explain. There's a study out of Stanford University called the Aging Well Project, which tracked over 7,000 adults for more than 20 years. They discovered that seniors who had a clear sense of daily purpose, whether it was caring for a garden, volunteering, mentoring a child, or learning something new, lived on average 7 years longer and reported up to 40% higher life satisfaction than those who didn't. Purpose is medicine, and yet it's almost never prescribed. I remember a woman named Maria, 76 years old, who came to me after losing her husband. Her blood pressure had spiked, her joints ached, and she told me, "I feel like I'm fading." But as we talked, I asked her what she missed most. She said, "I miss teaching." She'd been a piano teacher for 40 years, but stopped after her husband got sick. I asked her, "What if you started again? Just one student?" 6 months later, she walked into my clinic with color in her face and light in her eyes. She said, "I'm teaching 4 kids now, and my hands don't hurt anymore." That's not coincidence. That's biology responding to purpose. When you have something to wake up for, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, natural anti-aging chemicals that reduce pain, lower stress, and strengthen the immune system. You don't need a fountain of youth. You need a reason to get up in the morning. And if you've been believing the lie that life shrinks as you age, I'm here to tell you, it expands when you do. Whether it's learning a new skill, reconnecting with old friends, or sharing your story online, purpose reactivates the parts of your brain and body that keep you alive longer. That's not just a longevity secret. It's the essence of reversing aging from the inside out. Because happiness is not about avoiding pain, it's about staying connected to what matters. And connection, purpose, and joy are the strongest predictors of health past 60. Stronger than cholesterol, stronger than weight, even stronger than genetics. So no, happiness doesn't fade with age. It deepens, but only if you let it. These first 4 lies, slowing down, losing memory, relying on pills and fading happiness, have one thing in common. They all convince you that decline is inevitable, and therefore you stop fighting for better. But the truth? You were built for resilience. Your body heals, your mind rewires, your heart can rediscover joy. And when we reach the 5th lie, you'll see why everything you've been told about aging gracefully might actually be what is holding you back from truly living youthfully. Because this next truth changes everything we thought we knew about growing older. Lie number 5, you're too old to change. This one breaks my heart every time I hear it, because it's not just wrong, it's deadly. I can't count how many times someone in their 60s, 70s, or even 80s has sat across from me, shrugged and said, "Doc, it's too late for me." They say it quietly, like they've already signed a contract with decline, as if their story has already been written, and all that's left is the waiting. But here's what most people don't realize. Biologically, your body never stops changing. Every 7 years, 98% of the atoms in your body are replaced. Every single cell is constantly regenerating. Your heart rebuilds itself, your skin renews itself, your brain rewires itself. You are a walking miracle of renewal. So where did this lie come from? It came from decades of conditioning that told older adults they're past their prime, that change belongs to the young. It's been fed by a system that profits when you stop believing in your own power, but science says otherwise. In 2021, researchers at the University of California found that older adults who introduced just 2 new healthy habits per week, like light resistance training, plant-rich meals, or daily journaling, improved cellular regeneration markers by up to 37% in 6 months. That's not slowing aging, that's reversing it. Let me tell you about Thomas. He was 81 when he came into my clinic, recently widowed, withdrawn, and convinced that nothing could get better. He said, "Doc, my wife was the healthy one. I'm just waiting my turn." We started small. 15 minutes of walking a day, a handful of leafy greens at lunch, 10 deep breaths before bed. Just 3 tiny changes. 3 months later, he had lost 12 pounds. 6 months later, he was volunteering at a community garden. A year later, he looked me straight in the eye and said, "I thought I was done. Turns out I was just beginning again." That's what real aging looks like, not decay, rebirth. It's never too late to change because your body and your mind never stop listening. They respond to your choices, today, tomorrow, and every day after that. Here's the truth. The moment you believe it's too late, you stop trying. And when you stop trying, you confirm the lie. But the opposite is also true. The moment you decide to start, you ignite every system in your body that wants to keep you alive and thriving. You can begin again at 70. You can rebuild at 80. You can rediscover joy at 90. There is no expiration date on transformation. And that brings us to something even deeper, something most people never realize until it's almost too late. Because the final lie isn't about your body, it's about your spirit. Lie number 6. Aging is something that happens to you. This one is subtle. It hides behind innocent words like inevitable and natural, but it carries a dangerous message that you are a passive participant in your own life, that aging is an unstoppable tide and you're just floating along, waiting to see where it takes you. But here's the truth that will change everything if you let it. Aging isn't something that happens to you. It's something you shape. Your habits, your thoughts, your connections, they sculpt the trajectory of your later years more than any number on your birth certificate. Think about it. 2 people can be the same age, one confined to a recliner, the other hiking with friends, full of laughter. The difference isn't biology, it's belief. One surrendered to aging, the other partnered with it. Let me ask you something powerful. When was the last time you woke up excited about something new? The last time you looked forward, not backward? You see, the people who age best aren't the ones who chase youth. They're the ones who stay curious. They're the ones who see every year as another chance to evolve, to explore, to deepen their story. And here's what neuroscience tells us. Curiosity literally keeps your brain younger. When you engage with life, learn new skills, meet new people, or even ask new questions, your brain floods with dopamine and serotonin, the same chemicals that keep children learning and growing. It's not the candles on the cake that age you, it's the absence of wonder. One of my patients, Doris, was 85 when she decided to learn Spanish. Everyone laughed, her family, her friends. "Why?" they asked. "You're too old for that." 3 years later, she wasn't just conversational, she was teaching Spanish to local kids. She told me, "It made my brain feel alive again." That's not poetic, it's physiological. Her brain literally grew new connections, her blood pressure dropped, and her balance improved. Because purpose doesn't just feed the soul, it nourishes the body. So no, aging isn't something that happens to you. It's something you dance with, shape and steer. And the more you take part in that dance, through learning, laughing, moving, connecting, the more gracefully you age. But if you truly want to understand what it means to defy aging, you need to see it lived out in someone's story. Because numbers and studies can teach you science, but stories show you truth. Let me tell you one. Her name was Eileen. She was 91 when I met her, and I can say without hesitation, she changed the way I see life itself. She came to our clinic after breaking her wrist. Most people her age would have been told to rest, avoid strain, take it easy. But Eileen didn't believe in taking it easy. She had been an artist her whole life, painting landscapes of the hills behind her farmhouse. But after the fracture, her doctor told her she might never paint again. Her hand was too weak, her grip was gone. When she came to see me, she smiled and said, "Doc, I'm not done creating. Tell me what I can do." We started with gentle mobility exercises, light wrist stretches, finger curls, simple resistance bands. Within weeks, her strength began returning. But what struck me wasn't her body's progress, it was her spirit. Every session, she talked about her next painting. She could already see it in her mind. A sunrise over the hills, bright, alive, bursting with color. She said, "I'm going to call it rebirth." It took her 6 months. Slowly, painfully, brushstroke by brushstroke, she painted again. When she finished, she brought it to my office. She said, "You know, Doc, I thought aging meant losing things, losing people, losing strength, losing time. But it's really about rediscovering what's left and making it matter." Eileen lived 5 more years. And when she passed, her daughter told me they hung that painting in her living room, right where the sunrise hit it every morning. That's what real longevity looks like. Not just years added, but life restored. Because the secret isn't in escaping aging. It's in participating fully, courageously, beautifully, in every stage of it. And that brings us to the heart of everything, the truth that ties every lie together. Lie number 7. The best years of your life are behind you. If there's one message I wish I could burn into the heart of every person, over 60, it's this: you haven't seen your best years yet. Think about what that means. You've already survived so much. Hardship, change, heartbreak, joy. You've learned lessons that younger people haven't even begun to face. You have wisdom that can save lives, comfort souls, and shape futures. And yet society wants you to believe your role is to step aside, to fade quietly into the background. But what if your greatest contribution is still ahead of you? What if the years between 60 and 90 are the decades meant for sharing, mentoring, creating, and leading, not retreating? Here is the radical truth. Most of the happiness and peace people experience in life comes after 55. That's not opinion, it's data. A massive study from the London School of Economics found that life satisfaction peaks twice. Once at age 23 and again at 69. Why? Because by then, you finally understand what matters. You stop chasing approval, start embracing simplicity, and rediscover gratitude. The problem is, too many never reach that second peak because they stop trying before they get there. But if you're listening to this right now, I want you to hear me clearly. It's not too late to climb again. Start with one simple rule: expand instead of shrink. When the world tells you to slow down, expand your movement. When people tell you to stay safe, expand your experiences. When loneliness creeps in, expand your connections. Aging doesn't close doors, it opens them if you're brave enough to walk through. You can start a business at 70. You can fall in love at 80. You can learn to dance, paint, garden, meditate, teach, and still change lives at 90. Because your story isn't finished, it's just entering its most powerful chapter. And if you need proof, look around. There are people your age running marathons, climbing mountains, writing books, mentoring youth, adopting rescue animals, building community gardens, restoring hope. They are rewriting what it means to be old. They're not lucky, they're awake. That's the real secret of longevity. Staying awake to life, staying curious, staying kind, staying grateful. So when someone says you're in your golden years, Don't think of it as a soft, fading light. Think of it as the sunrise Eileen painted, bright, unyielding and alive. Because the sun doesn't dim as it rises, it grows stronger. So let's take a moment and pull this all together. You've now uncovered the 5 toxic lies that have kept millions of people from truly living past 60. The lie that slowing down is normal, it's not. The lie that memory loss is inevitable, it isn't. The lie that medication equals management, it doesn't. The lie that happiness fades, it deepens. And the lie that you can't change, you absolutely can. We've learned that aging isn't a disease to be treated, it's an evolution to be embraced. We've seen that your mind, your body and your spirit remain capable of growth until your very last breath. And we've witnessed, through the stories of Harold, Ruth, Leon, Maria, Thomas, Doris and Eileen, that transformation doesn't have an age limit. But none of this knowledge matters unless you act on it. So here's my challenge for you. Starting tonight, do one small thing that your younger self would be proud of. Take a 10-minute walk after dinner. Call an old friend you miss. Learn a new word, a new recipe, a new stretch. Or simply stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I'm not done yet. Because you're not. Your heart still beats, your lungs still fill, your spirit still stirs. That means there's still time to grow, to heal, to inspire, to love. And if you ever doubt that, remember this. Every sunrise you see is proof that renewal is possible. You can reclaim your strength, your independence, your joy. You can live longer, love deeper, and move freer. That's not wishful thinking. That's human biology at its most beautiful, constantly rebuilding, constantly ready to begin again. So don't let anyone tell you your best years are gone. They're not gone. They're waiting for you to show up, to choose vitality, to take that first step toward the life you deserve. And I'll leave you with this. The goal isn't to live forever. It has to live fully every single day you're given. Because when you live fully, aging becomes what it was always meant to be, not a countdown, but a continuation. Now I'd love to hear from you. What is one lie about aging you've been told? And what truth are you ready to replace it with today? Share it in the comments. You might just inspire someone else to start their own comeback story. If this message resonated with you, if it opened your eyes or reignited a little hope, please share it with someone you love. Because somewhere out there, someone is quietly believing they're too old to change. And your share could be the spark that saves their life. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful senior health tips, real longevity secrets, and life-changing strategies for independent living. I'm Dr. Marcus Levine, reminding you that age doesn't define you. Attitude does. Stay strong, stay curious, and never ever stop beginning again.